Okay, so I am talking to Eva Clarke, who I first met many years ago now. In fact, it's scary how many, when she very kindly asked me to help adjudicate one of her Guinness World Records, which was in Abu Dhabi, where she was doing as many push ups as she could do on her knuckles in 24 hours. That's how much of a crazy person she is. And she racked up an absolutely incredible, let me find my paperwork. Where was it? 9,241 inside of 24 hours. And the first hour alone was 1,206. So there's many things we're going to talk about today. But first off, Eva, I'm just going to say thank you again for talking to me, and feel free to introduce yourself.
All right. Gosh, I'm nervous, Richard. Huh? I don't get nervous before any of my Guinness World Records, but here I am about to spread the gospel of fitness, and I'm slightly nervous. Look, my name's Eva, and I've been around for a while in the fitness industry, just over 20 something years, and it's pretty much my life. I preach to the converted, I'd say. I try to get a few more people on my side and try to share the lifestyle that I live. But it's really up to the individual, if they want to follow that path of fitness and health and, making it a lifestyle. But, it's something that was ingrained in me since I was a child. It's just something that's come naturally with sports, being active. I can remember being 8 years old and taking myself for a run because I liked it. And I
Sure.
still to this day, like it. And it's something that I do. But, I'm hoping that in a way you can help prompt me to share my kind of lifestyle that I've had over the years because I don't want to be stuck for words here, but, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Okay, so having done my research from the good old internet and things that I know you've done and exploring sort of things, because obviously you lived in the UAE for quite a while, so there's plenty of press out there on you. And I know you've done so much of your work for raising money for charity and all that, which we are absolutely going to touch on. You said you got into exercise and sport at a young age. Was that just the stuff you did voluntarily, or was that through school as well?
I mean, it was through school, Richard, but I came from a real wayward home. I grew up in housing commission. My mum was schizophrenic. My dad wasn't around for a lot of the time. So I
Hmm.
was in and out of foster care. And academic wise, it was hard for me. My siblings have learning disabilities. My mum, she come from Hungary when she was 12 years old and didn't attend school. She had her first child at 14. So kind of the academic literacy was never there, and my mum never or was really there for me. So I felt different to my family. So I needed something to keep me growing as a child, as an individual. So I looked for sports. I started actually. I remember running in the mornings with my PE teacher, and he'd get the class running, and he'd go, Eva, you're going to beat the boys today, aren't you? So it was always someone there in that sense to push me. And then I found soccer. So it was my go-to sport. I fell in love with that, and I think it was the only thing that kept me at school from a young age was the fact that I was good at sports, and I was always looking for that challenge because on the home front it was hard. And so fitness and sport, that became my escape. That became my identity from a very young age.
Hmm.
So I used that to help myself grow physically. And again, in that academic sense, like I said, it was the only thing that kept me at sports. So, I did get an education because of that reason.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, so you use that to help you sort of fill out the educational time in your early life. The fact that school gave you
Yeah,
a ability to focus.
absolutely. Yeah, and I guess that's what's made me go where I am now. I was talking to you earlier, and I said to you, look, I'm doing that academic challenge at the moment. Now I'm finishing my bachelor's degree. I'm 42 years old.
Mm,
I've done all these physical challenges. So now I'm like, well, how can I grow as an individual, and how can I share my journey with others to inspire and to motivate? So, I'm in the last semester of my degree, and I'm about to go and teach, students in high school, secondary health and PE, but also take with me what I know about life in that sense of discipline, in that sense of motivation, that sense of not giving up,
yeah,
kind of, that mentality around it all, because somewhere along the lines, we were all faced with adversities, and mine was my childhood,
right.
mine was my early teen, a young adulthood, because I kind of fell into the cycle that I came from as a child, in my early 20s, and I couldn't break it. I used the military to escape, that life. And I
Yeah.
needed a job, I needed a career. I just wanted to be more than what I'd seen in the society I grew up in. And I mean, there was many people there, if I'd hung around, they would have kept me in that same loop, alcoholism, drugs, our violence. But, I just used what I could to get out. And I always revert back to sport and to fitness and that mentality to push through when it hurt the most. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's where I am today. I'm on a path to share where I've been and hope that, I can help not just adults, but wayward kids that find they're lost a little bit, and channel my energy into going, hey, there is a way,
Hmm.
I can show you. So see what happens. Yeah.
I'm fairly sure that you as a role model would do fairly well, because I nothing on the level that you've done, in terms of charity work and things like that. I've done a limited amount of work with younger kids and teenagers and stuff like that. And my experience, if they can see someone who is earnestly talking to them in their own best interests, that alone can help them step through the sort of like the barriers they've got. You, I think, would be a fantastic role model.
Well, I hope so. I really hope that I can share where I've been. And when I've done some of my practice at university, and the teachers the kids will say to me, "Oh, Miss, why are you here?" Like, because I've gone to these residences, and not quite like Abu Dhabi. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I've
yeah,
gone into
sure.
small. And they're like, Miss, why are you here? I look at your Instagram profile. You've done Guinness World Records, you've skydived, you ride bikes.
Hmm.
And I said, you know what? Because I'm here to show you kids that, if you feel trapped, if you feel lost, there's a way. And I
Sure.
said, it's just hard work. It's
Yeah.
hard work on your part, and you've got to embrace that suck of
Hmm.
life, because life's going to throw many obstacles at you, and it's whether you're going to push through, through those obstacles to find a better version of yourself, or you're going to stay back marking time with, the folks that are surrounding you that are, kind of making you cluck like chickens. You got to find these eagles. You got to find the eagles and soar with them,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and and that's what I wanted to do in life, because when I love my family, God bless my family, but there was something inside of me. There was a spark inside of me going, I need to be more. I need to be
Hmm.
more. This cannot be my life. And it was not up to my family. It was not up to anyone else except me to kind of get that spark going and burning. So I added fuel to my fire, and I consider myself successful because I'm healthy, I'm happy, my children are healthy, my children are happy. I'm always searching for something to better myself, whether it's academics, whether it's another Guinness World Record, whether it's helping someone else or starting my own jiu-jitsu academy. I can't stand still. Life's too short. If
Hmm.
you're marking time doesn't wait for you. So,
No, absolutely.
I'm gonna take advantage of everything.
So from your, I absolutely agree. So from your early experiences, then you found a method of getting yourself driven and focused and all that. Going into your military career, did that give you almost like a boost beyond a lot of the other people that you must experience joining at the same time as you, because you already knew how to really self motivate?
Yeah, I mean, that was, look, self motivation was never a problem for me. Like,
Hmm.
I think the hardest part about the military was getting all the paperwork to get in. So
Right.
to
Okay.
get it, yeah. But look, I mean, in a sense, I did find some things difficult. I did find being told what to do difficult,
Right.
because I kind of was always on my own, looking after myself, doing what I wanted to do to be successful. And I do remember one of the high school teachers telling me, that I was very undisciplined and that I wouldn't cut it in the military. And those kind of statements, and there was a lot of statements to me in my life, like, you're never going to amount to anything. You're never going to be anything. And I mean, as much as I hate them, I use them to channel my energy in, not to prove them wrong, but to prove to myself that I was more
Yeah.
than what society saw me as, you know. So I was a troublemaker. I was a lost wayward kid, someone that couldn't be controlled. But, you know, to a degree, as I got older, I learnt that I didn't need to be defiant against anybody else, you know, to prove who I was or where I could go in life. But I used them as motivators, you know, and especially when that, oh, you can't or you won't, you know, you're never going to be any more than where you came from. And for me, that was like, all right, let's go, you know,
Yeah.
bring it on. And so, and that, you're faced with that a lot in the army. And I don't know whether that's the mentality of the military, or looking back, you know, they break you down, they remold you. So there was a lot of things that I did take from there that have made me who I am today, especially discipline wise. It's made me a better person. It's made me focus. It makes me understand time management. I'd say definitely in that sense, that time management sense. You know yourself, Richard, with the military as well. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I guess what more than anything the military instilled in me was the teamwork and the mateship.
Yeah.
You know, because I was a lone wolf, you know, trying to fight myself out of where I came from. But that togetherness, that mateship, there was people helping you too. And there was a lot of people that wanted to see you, as much as some people would say you would fail, there was as many people wanting to see you succeed. And that was good. That was kind of that family that I felt I was missing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? At times growing up. So that instilled that in me. And so when I ventured out, when I got to Abu Dhabi, I was always looking for circles or creating my own circles, like Hua Fitness, joining Jiu-Jitsu, or you know what I mean? Doing the Guinness World Records with a whole bunch of people with me, beside me, as a team, as a family. So, you know, that mateship was the biggest asset that I took away with me from the military.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I do remember those days, although they seem so long ago now. I left at 27 and I'm 40 something. Oh, wow, it's so many years ago. But yeah, no, I mean, I know exactly what you mean about how sometimes it's so productive to have that environment around you, because I mean, I suppose it must exist in sports teams to a degree, but of course it's not the same degree of connection. You get lifted because those around you benefit from your own success. You know, and
Absolutely. And yeah, it's a lifestyle too. You know what I mean? You're in the military, like, you know, you have to do things at certain times. You have to hurry up and wait. But it was a lifestyle, you know. You get to exercise. You get to you've got this great network of people that, you know, you could reach out to at times when you felt alone. You know, and I do wonder sometimes when you leave that lifestyle if that's what you miss as well. You know what I mean? And that causes some depression and some anxiety, you know what I mean? So just going away from that. But every time, you know, after my 13 years in the military, I kind of have created my little networks to feel the same, you know, that's through fitness, through jiu-jitsu. So, you know, it's really important to feel good about yourself and feel connected, because although fitness makes me feel happy, and exercise and sport, you know, I feel good, but also that connection, that social and emotional connection that you need, that you can establish through fitness and lifestyle, that is really important as well. So
yeah, no, I absolutely do agree with that as well. It's just the idea that your identity and your mental and physical health, very much, I think, in the military tend to merge into one body, because all of those affect the other, if that makes sense. And I you know, the idea, like you said, once you leave, you've taken one of those three away, because you are no longer. I mean, we always say as veterans that, you know, that have done a period of time, like, we never leave that behind. It's who we are. But to the rest of the world, you're not. And I've maybe had some wobbles in my own life, but I certainly know people that have left the military who do really struggle, because there's always that last day. You know, you're in uniform, you have an identity, the public relate to you. There's certain expectations and trust from you yourself on yourself, but people that would see you, to all of a sudden, oh yeah, you left those camp gates the last time. You don't have a uniform anymore. You don't get that automatic, you know, association with who you might be as a person, and that level of, I mean, respect. I don't mean in a chest puffing kind of way, but if people look at you in uniform, they will address you a certain way. They expect themselves to behave to you in a certain manner, because, you know, you're one of our military, blah, blah, blah. And then you take that away. And I think a lot of people do question who they are, at least for a short spell, because they're like, oh, okay, I'm no longer Sergeant so-and-so, I'm just Brian now.
and that's a hard bloody hard pill to swallow. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's going from, up there on that pedestal and coming back down to reality and in the real world. And the real world is slightly different, but it is what it is, and you've got to adapt. But I guess that's why people do reach out to things, academies or sports teams or that, because again, your sense of belonging and this day and age is really important. So, and that's why, when I've done my Guinness World Records too, and when I did them they're all in the UAE, and it was always a team thing. You know what I mean? Because we all belong. So, and when I left the UAE, gosh, that it's been over a year now, just over a year. That was hard to do. That was a hard transition, and there was times I felt lonely, but because of recent events, I was always connected to my job back there through the computer. So I've had online fitness classes, because of what's happened in recent events, that I've been able to kind of break away from the UAE, not just like a cut, but because I'm still connected to the UAE somehow. So it's been good for me in that sense. So still working abroad, like on computers, just as we are. It's been pretty cool that way. So but I still connected.
I see on your social media, for those of you, for people, and we'll get all your social media details by the end of this, you're still conducting your Zoom classes with everyone back in Abu Dhabi that you were still doing. So we're going to jump around a little bit on a timeline here, but May of last year, you went for, as a collective, you and, was it people that already trained with you and school students? So
they were NYU.
Yeah. So it was a team effort for how many burpees could be accomplished in 24 hours. And from what I've been reading, you were hoping to achieve 6,000. And how many? I know the exact number. I've got it written here. How many did you do?
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me.
All right. Okay, so collectively the team was expecting around 6,000 between themselves over the course of the day. They achieved 12,502, which I think is staggering. A brilliant collective effort. But one of the reasons why I wanted to bring that up was I read some of the students' comments about doing it with you in the newspapers, and they didn't find out the total that they'd done until their graduation day, because it was the end of school as well. Which I forget her name now, and I do apologize if she ever listens to this, but one of the students said it made her graduation that bit more special because she found out not only what she'd done academically, but what they'd achieved with you. Which I think is going to lead into how you work as an educator, because you can draw that out of people. You had a bunch of kids in a different continent doing that kind of stuff because of you, because I don't think they would have been doing it without you. They wouldn't have gone, hey, this is a good idea as teenagers. We're waiting for our exam results. Let's just fucking jump around and do burpees for an entire day. No, kids aren't doing that.
Oh, look, we live in a society where sometimes people just coast along.
Yeah.
They don't know how capable they are. They don't know how physically capable they are, mentally capable they are, academically capable they are. And these students at NYU needed me as much as I needed them, because basically, I started my degree working around these kids, and I thought to myself, and I had to do bridging courses, and I did it part-time, and I'm just about to finish, but it was because of them. They inspired me. When I saw they could do this, I was like, well, irrespective of my age, I'm going to do this. I'm going to graduate at 42, Sure. So I used them to motivate me in that academic sense. And so they used me to motivate themselves in that physical sense. Day in, day out, they were turning up to my workouts. And my workouts, we're always preparing for the next day. So you're going to be fit for the next day, because their goals were all different. Everyone has individual goals in life, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your goals are. I believe that if you can do 100 burpees, you can do 1,000. If you can run 10Ks, you can run 100Ks. Yes, you need to train. Some people need to train for it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about your sedentary client that's just going to sit on the lounge and jump up and do that. I'm talking about people that are very active and been training with me for, these people that I went from start to finish. Yeah, start of the uni to the finish. I'd been training some of the students. So right. I've had them for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, well, how, with recent times, what were happening, we're trapped behind a computer. I was like, what can we do to make this a banging 20 2020 or was it 2019? I'm not too sure. I can't remember which
Yeah,
year
yeah.
we did it either. I think it was 2020. And I thought, how many students in the world are going to graduate not only with, high honors or, into a new career path, but with a Guinness World Record?
Sure.
And I thought to myself, well, I can do this. There is nothing stopping you. And again, the hardest part of any Guinness World Record was getting the paperwork together.
Hey, yeah,
And
I've talked to Guinness about a few things. I know exactly how that goes.
yes, it's really, really hard. And a lot of people quit just trying to submit the paperwork.
Yeah.
So really, honestly, I was like, you know what? I'll take the lead. I'll kickstart this. Whatever, this team can't do, I'll pick up the slack. And not once did I have to pick up the slack. Do you know what I mean? This is what life's about.
Sure,
it's
absolutely.
taking ownership of a moment or putting yourself in a situation. You're going to wake up tomorrow. Yeah, you're going to hurt. You're going to be sore from it, but you did it. And there's no, if you can get up and train, it doesn't matter whether you put it into a Guinness World Record perspective or a fitness session perspective. If you can get up and embrace that suck for the ultimate satisfaction at the end,
Sure.
okay, that is what's going to leave you feeling good. And that's all I train day in, day out right now. I'm training because it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I feel satisfied and I feel accomplished. I'm like, holy crap, I did that when I didn't feel like doing it, So a lot of people, just think they can't. And like I said, they coast through life. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, this is me. I'm good enough. And I don't want to be like that. And when I find people and I see that they have the same mentality or they're pushing hard or they're turning up to my sessions, I'm like, I can get a Guinness World Record. You can get a Guinness World Record. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
You're just as capable as me. You're turning up, you're slogging it out day in, day out. It's just that, like I said, some people, they just don't know how capable they really are. And I hope when they're around me that, that I, in the physical sense and that mental strength, that I can show them that, hey, yeah, you can go out and kick ass because I can. So what's stopping you? And again, like I said, I surrounded myself with eagles by being at NYU, these academic kids. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to better myself too. So, I haven't done a Guinness World Record since the last one, only because I'm trying to finish this degree with high distinctions and A's. Like as I apply myself to anything physical, I kind of want to excel in that academic sense too.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people are very quiet, Eva, on that Guinness World Record front. I'm like, I just got to get this.
Hey, you set 16, you can have a fucking rest.
Yeah, I think so. I think I bloody earn it.
So, right, on that then, okay, right, let's just go through some of these. I'm not going to list all of them, but so, as I said, you set, I know that at this point in time, when you set these, you set them with the goal, I think everyone does, and hope that someone comes along and moves past them at some point. So I don't know if they still all stand, but
No, they don't all stand.
let's look at this.
There's some of them.
I mean, pull-ups over 24 hours from dead hang to chin to bar. 725 in the first hour, 2,740 in 12 hours, and the record you set at 3,737 in 24. The fastest woman ever by fastest marathon ever by a woman carrying a 20-kilo backpack in 4 hours, 34 minutes and 42 seconds. Chest to 4 burpees in 1 hour, which you set in the Guinness office, the Guinness World Record office, at 920 reps. The record.
Well, they just rang me up the day before. Eva, do you want to come and do this? See, that's what you're training for,
Absolutely,
Richard. That's what you're training for. You never know. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, although I knew about you years beforehand, when I first met you, when you asked me to be one of the adjudicators at Abu Dhabi for your press-ups, and that was 2014. So that was, how many push-ups can you do in 24 hours? But not just push-ups, because you're Eva. You do them on your knuckles. And you did 70 in a minute, 1,206 in the first hour, and you racked up 9,241 in 24 hours. You are a very, very focused individual. I mean, I was also at the Dubai Autodrome because I forget what year it was, because I was working with one of the racing teams when you set the record for the amount of burpees in 24 hours. 12,003 in 24 hours.
Yeah, that was the no chest to floor ones. That was tough.
Yeah.
That was bloody a tough one. Yeah, but I sit back there I'm pretty impressed with that effort.
I would be.
Yeah. So that. Yeah, it was tough. And when I think about which one was the toughest, that one, I think, because that one absolutely, because I did that, everything has been on my knuckles.
Yeah.
So that one absolutely shredded my knuckles. And in saying that, I do say, look, it's not because I'm tough that I do them on my knuckles, because of Kienbock's disease in my right wrist. So I've got a pin in there.
Touch on that. Yeah.
So when I was in the army, they actually made me medical class 3 and kicked me out, and so the rap was like, oh yeah, she can still do push-ups on her knuckles, so we'll take her.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned how to do push-ups on my knuckles, because I was like, well, I'm not going to stop, doing something. If there's a will, there's a way. And
Sure.
and a lot of people use injury as an excuse. No, I can't. And okay, some things you can't. I understand, but I've seen some great things in the world by people that are injured, people that have lost limbs,
Sure.
and they're succeeding. It's that if there's something inside you that's ignited, and if you want to be the best version of yourself, you're gonna make it happen. Like I said, a will, there's a way. So that's why I do the knuckle push-ups, the knuckle burpees, and also because I am pretty bloody damn tough.
Hey, I'd agree with that. All right, so we didn't list all of them. We only listed a few of them. But how do you go about picking those particular records? Because you can cast, Guinness, you can cast your net wide and go, I want to try this. So how do you choose those? Just because you're like, what looks the most dangerous? Like, what's the most crazy?
Push-ups. I started with the push-ups because I started investigating, what were the highest numbers, like reps. And so that's where it all started. I did 508 consecutive push-ups, but they were crap. They were only half reps. And someone called me out on it on social media, as everyone does. You've got all these social media warriors out there telling you how crap you are. And look, I looked at them and I knew they were. So then I was like, okay, I'll work on them. And so I set it wasn't a Guinness World Record. It was a world record at my kids' school to raise money for bleachers, for benches at the school.
Sure.
And so I did 251 consecutive push-ups unbroken to cadence.
Right.
And then ended up doing 385 in that 15 minutes. So I became a world record in the alternative books.
Right.
And then that's when I said, okay, let's check out how I can, what I can do next. So I looked up Guinness World Records and, so I was like, okay, I can set some Guinness World Records. And actually, I think I've become more of a pioneer in those senses, because none of the records, there was a couple that stood, okay, but I created them. I created these records and in the hope that, someone would go, hey, she's inspired me to go and do this. So let's go and break her record, because she can do it, I can do it. And so that's what I'm hoping. And there's some records that I'll go after again if they do get broken, like knuckle push-ups, pull-ups. But there's some that I'm going to say, you can have it. And I would definitely give the, pat on the back and a cuddle to the person that does break it, because I know how tough they are.
Sure.
But that's as competitive as I am, I also like to see people, succeed as well. And it makes it fun watching other people follow in your footsteps and break these records.
Sure. All right. So when you're doing something like 24 hours of knuckle push-ups, or you're doing the burpees and something else, talk me through what it's like. I know you're a driven person, and I think anyone listening to this already will be able to tell that straight away. Talk me through what's going on in your head, your conversations that you're having for yourself, because inevitably when you're doing anything that's endurance-based, there's got to be a point where you go, right, my body by itself is not going to keep going. This is now my brain, my mind. What conversations are you having with yourself when you've reached that threshold of going, okay, now I can feel I'm tiring and I've done 3 hours, I've got 21 to go or whatever it is. What are you saying to yourself?
I always tell myself, you said you're going to do it, now bloody do it. That's the first thing. Don't let yourself down. Don't let yourself down. So, I set these small achievable goals and I break it up. Like, okay, let's get 100 now. Let's get 50 now. And if it's not going out to plan, just keep going. 1 rep.
Sure.
2 reps. It does not matter. Look, it's stop, rest, but don't quit.
Yeah.
You will not quit. Not quit. Unless if you've quit, you don't know you've quit because you're out. The ambulance is taking you to the hospital. You don't know. And I said, unless that's going to happen, then you don't stop. Because that's the thing. If the mind is willing, in my head, I go through a lot of scenarios. I think I kind of, with visualization and then I think about perspective a lot, and I think about what's going on in the world, because there's a lot going on in the world that are hurting people more than 24 hours of goddamn burpees. 24 hours of burpees, I know it's going to be over. Yeah, it's going to hurt. Big deal.
Yeah,
but there's kids. What makes me think, what right do I have to quit is when I think of kids battling cancer, that battle cancer for months and years. You know, when I see that there's homeless people on the street that are probably going to be there for the rest of their lives. What right do I have to quit in 24 hours? None. So suck it up, and then it'll be over. And always, that's why I say, whenever I start something, I know, and I put it down, there is an end point. There is a bloody end point, you know, in these physical things. And that's why I find it absolute lunacy that people don't get out there and train. Like people call me crazy doing these Guinness World Records. I'm saying, man, you've got it the wrong way around. You are crazy for not owning your life. You know, a lot of people come up to me as a PT and go, oh, Eva, I can't do this, or I can't do that. I'm like, no, you can't, you won't. You're choosing not to, because I guarantee you in 24 hours that you've got in a day, you can spend 15 minutes moving, okay? You can choose what you put in your mouth to eat, you know, to be healthy, okay? You can choose to sleep. No one in this world is just so full of excuses. Okay, it's okay to have reasons, but stop with the bloody excuses. So I'm not going to give myself an excuse when I do a Guinness World Record to stop in 24 hours. Because like I said, perspective. I always use the big white bus of perspective in the UAE when I'd be driving to work or seeing it, and I'm thinking of these people that are building the country up and in their bus and smiling and sleeping and broken. And I said to myself, what right do I have? Do you know? You know what I'm talking about, Richard?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, what right do I have to quit? I don't. My life's pretty good, like I said. So at the end of it, there's an end point.
Sure.
That's what keeps me going. I said to myself, I'm going to do it, and mark my word, you watch me, I'm going to do it. If I don't do it, like I said, I'm going to be in the hospital, and someone's going to wake me up and tell me I didn't do it.
Sure. That's a fair enough point. I mean, I've done some interesting endurance things in the past, but when I came to and you know, observed you doing your record for push-ups, I was really impressed by many things, but the structure you had. I mean, obviously you would have trained in the same manner, but because you were doing as many as you could do in the first hour was the main focus. And of course, over time, you're going to decrease your ability. You're going to get tired, fatigue. So as many as you can do in the first minute, then the first hour, and then after that, it was this number of reps on the minute. And you just bang out the minutes, bang out the hours. Okay, my fatigue's reached this level. We'll take one rep off, and we keep going, and we keep going. I mean, like I said, you were so focused. Like you said, okay, I'm not going to do 14,000 in the first hour. We're going to do as much as I can in the first hour. Then it's 6 a minute, and that's it. Hour after hour. Now I'm a bit tired. I bring it down to 5, and just bang, 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 bang. Like you said, making the big objective just big enough at every stage to go, I can do this. Like you said, no excuse. I can do this. Next minute, next minute, next minute. And I do agree with you very much. The idea that I think there are too many excuses in the world, but I think there are too many people who are too comfortable with being comfortable. And the second something comes up, they go, oh, this is going to put a ripple into my life, my world. This is going to be a little bit unpleasant. I'm going to shy away from it. And I think I don't do as much work as a therapist now as I used to. I primarily work with training and coaching, but that I see so much in so many people now. I don't really want to adjust my diet. Well, how are you going to change your health then? I don't really want to exercise, or I don't really want to get out and walk. Well, okay, you aren't going to make a change. I could write you the program that in a year will make you an Olympic athlete, but if you don't get off your ass, you know, I worked with a guy prior to 2019 who went from being an absolute amateur, as in I picked up the pistol the first time, who's John is half Greek, half Canadian. He picked up a pistol for the first time and had a go at target shooting. And within 18 months, he was going through Olympic selection and then had to decide, would I compete for Canada or Greece? And I was his trainer, so we're not talking marathon training here, but physicality of marksmanship, of posture, the core strength involved. That was fantastic. The idea of going, okay, right, someone said to me, I've got a natural talent. but I need to find someone to help me physically because I'm not very fit. I'm not in good shape. And I know that my body will struggle before my mind does. And he's a very, very, very busy guy. He's got businesses around the world. He runs he was running some of the biggest projects in Dubai at the time. You know, in terms of the events that they hold here, he's the guy who basically manages them all. And I thought, this is a guy who is working like 19 hours a day. But like you said, he wouldn't find an excuse. He'd call me and go, Rich, I can't make 6 o'clock in the gym tonight. Can you do 8 p.m. by any chance? Or I can't do 3 days this week, but can we do both days on the weekend? Because he was in his head going, no, I've got to do my exercises at home. I've got to do this. And he wouldn't let up. And I thought that's a fantastic example of motivation. Because no one's saying to you, we're going to pay you to go to the Olympics. Because with the very definition of that event, you can't be a paid athlete. You've got to be a motivated amateur. So like you said, I think a lot of people need to find someone and something that can draw them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, where I've been at NYU, a lot of students, staff and faculty use me because we always say, and it sounds so cliche, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you've got to be. And at the moment, people want to be comfortable, Richard. And when I was living in the UAE, I was very comfortable. I didn't have to mop my floors, you know, clean my toilets.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to if I didn't want to. So I could use all that time to better myself, like, you know, train and that. But I'm living in the real world now, okay? and I have a lifestyle to maintain. I want clean. I want food.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm managing to do exactly the same,
mm-hmm.
right? My husband's not here. He's been here for a whole year, so I'm doing it by myself.
Right.
I moved to a small town with my kids, still maintaining the lifestyle that I like, the clean house, the cooking, you know, the fitness, the study, just to open my own jiu-jitsu academy, doing PT, online classes, and I'm still doing it, okay?
Yeah.
Now I'm doing it harder because I'm doing it all by myself.
Sure.
Because it's something I want.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before, I'd pay someone to do all the shit jobs for me, righto, so I could have this lifestyle. So when I moved back here, I was like, a little bit apprehensive going, oh, crap, you know, how are we going to deal with it? But because it's something that I'm used to, like having, like, you know, the lifestyle, the cleanliness, the fitness, I wasn't going to change it. So I had to work just a little bit harder to sustain it. You know, I could make excuses while my washing's piling up, while my dishes aren't done, but I don't. Everything that I want, if I want a clean house, I'll clean it. If I want good food, I'll make it. Okay, if I want a certain body type, and don't get me wrong, all bodies are beautiful, but for me, my body being healthy, fit, and in shape is beautiful for me.
Sure.
So I work bloody hard for it, and I respect anyone, you know, their physiques, and I've trained and with lots of different body types, but I do. If I look good, I feel good, you know, and so I draw that. That's, you know, in life. And some people might find that offensive because they might think, oh, she thinks that it's a certain body type that needs to be fit. No, anyone can be fit. Okay, but it's just me. It's just the way I want to look. So I work really hard to make sure that everything I want, I get, because it's all up to me. Now I don't pay anyone to do it because I don't make that salary anymore. But there's still no excuse. There's motivation, there's discipline, there's drive, there's commitment. Okay, it all comes to me. It's my life. I own it. If I want it, I work for it. Simple as that.
You're absolutely right on all of that. I mean, I think the people that would criticize those of a more active lifestyle or with a different physique, I mean, like you said, that there's no end of social justice trolley warrior or whatever you want to call themselves types out there right now. But to my opinion, a lot of people that are going to criticize people like yourself who go out and do all the work, they have their own companies, they take charge of their own bodies. The people that criticize a lot of the time are also doing so as a way of excusing their lifestyles and their inaction and their lack of self-care. You know, no one ever died from being healthy. They've died from being obese.
No.
They've died from not looking after them. You don't get high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes and lose a foot and have all those issues because you were taking the best care of yourself. But a lot of people on the verge of those situations would sooner criticize and slam those who do look after themselves because, like, I can say this, but you can't comment on me because that makes you a bully. It's like, yeah, but you're only making those excuses to kid yourself. Because like you said, you're a business owner, mother, you're going to become a teacher, you're finishing a degree, you're doing all the things that in their own right might become the single path for some people, and you're doing them all at once because you won't, settle essentially is the word that would encompass all of that. You're like, no, fuck it, I'm doing all this because I want to, which I think is a different level, which I think sadly is becoming a smaller group in the population that are self-driven, that will work for their own best interests because they're like, yeah, I don't have to, I won't do it. I won't aspire. I won't look after myself. I won't set myself the mental goals, which leads me nicely into something that I actually wish most people knew about you. So talk me through the idea of jogging from Abu Dhabi to Dubai to then go skydiving. Because itself, you lunatic, I actually Googled how far that is.
I don't know. I can't remember. Well, look, I was absolutely petrified of heights. I don't know. And so I decided to run from Abu Dhabi to Dubai.
As you do.
And jump out of a plane.
Along the side of the highway. I want that bit noted. Not through some country roads, not somewhere quiet. Down the side of the motorway.
Yep, did that. You know why, Richard? Because I can.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do it.
Absolutely.
That's exactly why. Hashtag because I can. People need, and the bullshit baffles brains, and the fitness world, the exercise and everything, they're all trying to sell a product to people. Mm-hmm. Okay? Just move. If we, as fitness trainers, stop, examining what other personal trainers are doing and just get everybody to move. And it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? The science is behind it, just simple shit, and people will get results.
Sure.
And hashtag because I can, if you are a trainer, and I see it on social media all the time, I saw some trainer getting on there criticizing another trainer for standing beside someone who was walking on a treadmill. But guess what? They are moving.
Sure.
Don't criticize them. This is what's happening. You know what I mean? Now, trainers are trying to do all this fancy shit to get people to do it, and people don't want fancy shit and people don't like it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So everyone's grilling everyone about what they're doing. If a trainer's standing beside someone and they are moving, they're doing their job, because you don't know if that's the hardest thing for them to do in the world. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be, and they might just want that. And I've had clients before that sometimes just want to talk to me because they want to connect.
Sure.
You don't care about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so me doing something crazy spontaneous, like running from Abu Dhabi to jump out of a plane in Dubai, you know what I mean? It's just to show people that there's nothing crazy about doing what you do. Just goddamn get out there and do it. And, I inspired people. People have ran the opposite way. They've run from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. Then people would ask me, people would always message me, Eva, how did you do this? And why did you do this? And I tell them I did it because I wanted to do it.
Sure.
And that's a good enough reason. Do you know what I mean? So if you want to do something, go and bloody do it.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. So you didn't just do the one jump, did you, though? Because I seem to remember you with, did you go get, I don't remember. I know you did lots of jumps because I saw the photographs and stuff. Did you go for your free fall license, or did you just like to rack up a load of jumps in your free time?
I did. I was lucky enough to jump with Vince Everett from Red Bull. He did my first tandem with me, and what a glorious man. He inspired me. So because I remember him saying to me, "Are you the crazy lady that ran from Abu Dhabi to Dubai?" And I said, "Yeah." "Are you the crazy dude that jumps out of planes?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I was like, all right. I said, hey, maybe one day you can run to Abu Dhabi and then jump out of a plane. And then I said, one day I'll jump out of a plane by myself. So I said, you know what? I've done it once. Let's see if I can do it. Mm-hmm. Let's see when I'm absolutely pushed to my limits, because I goddamn hate planes. Mm-hmm. And I hate heights, whether I have the balls to pull the chute, right, whether I have the capability to save my own life when it depends on it.
Yeah.
And look, it's perfect to apply to life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody every single day is literally jumping off a plane, and what they decide to eat and do is gonna, hinder or help their lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So I got on the plane and I jumped, and guess what? I pulled the chute.
Yeah.
And I was right. I was like, I can do it. You know what I mean? I can save my life,
Mm-hmm.
you know, fight or flight. I can save my life when I need to. And you know what? If people applied that same little theory, you know, save your life when you need to every single day, because
Sure.
every single day that you make a decision to better your health or not to better your health, you know, you're either saving your life or hindering your health. So, you know, I could do it, and I did it. Look, I set myself a goal, 50 jumps, and after 50 jumps, when Scott and I we did one of our jumps together, and we kind of hit each other.
Oh shit, really?
We went, you know what I mean? Said, let's get to 50 and stop, because the kids need parents.
Yeah, that's always a good point to come back to.
He would follow me on the same plane, and I had one rule: we don't go on the same plane, and we don't jump together. And he goes, come on, let's do it. And I was like, fuck that, we're done.
Yeah, that's not a bad point to get to. Yeah, we survived this far. Let's call it a day.
Look, I never loved it. It scared me every single goddamn jump. But I felt satisfied that I was able to do something like that every day. Would I do it again? No, I don't need to do it again. I've proved it to myself, you know. So, you know, there's other things I can go out there and challenge myself. I'm not saying, you know, go kill yourself to people, but you know what I mean? Like, obviously I had the best skydiving instructors in the world.
Sure.
You know, teaching me how to do that. And so they had complete confidence in me. They wouldn't have given me my license, I think, if I wasn't able to do it. But that's what I mean. Life is about being able to kind of pull that chute every day.
Yeah.
And be satisfied, you know, that you're going to save your soul, save yourself every single day.
Yes. Yeah. That's the notion that, like I said, you're going to do something in your own best interests. That I think.
Yeah,
I mean, I had a conversation not too long ago with someone who didn't really want to change their diet, didn't want to take up exercise, but they'd had one of those, you know, those conversations with a doctor, as in, whatever the fuck you've been doing with your life up to this point, you need to change. You know, the glum face kind of situation, and they're like, oh yeah, but I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, and I was like, right, well, what do you want from me? You know, you've bothered your ass to come and speak to me. I'm not going to sit here and hold your hand and pat your shoulder for the next 20 years until you drop dead. You know, if you want some consolation, buy a fucking puppy. Go and speak to your wife. If you actually want to take charge of your life, you've been told quite bluntly, you are going to die sooner than you should, and it won't be in a happy state because you are unhealthy. So you need, like you said, start moving. Stop thinking about, I'm going to train for the SAS. You've just got to start moving because your body needs you to. Yeah. Your mind needs you to. You know, and it's, I find it very weird that in an age where every aspect of human experience and knowledge is available via your phone or your laptop, people still refuse to think about things that they know they should be doing. Everybody knows that they should eat better than they eat bad, if that makes sense, most of the time. But how many people do it the other way around? Go, I'll have a salad today, but I eat like shit the last 6 days of the week. Rather than, you know what? It's the weekend. Let's just go out to dinner and not give a shit what we eat. That's the way you should be living. But how many people do it the other way around?
Oh, Richard, you know what? As long as there are people like that in the world that aren't selfish enough, that don't value themselves enough, that are a little bit lost, okay, there will always be a need for our profession.
True.
Do you know what I mean? They're keeping us employed. You know, so, but it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. Like I said, people look at me and tell me I'm the crazy one. Stop. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
I own my life. You know, I accept challenges each day. I think people that are crazy are the ones that don't value themselves enough. You know, I couldn't think of killing myself slowly, you know, by eating poorly or not exercising or not watching, because I know there's a lot of people in this world that need me, like my kids and my family. Yeah. And I hope, you know, that I'm there for them long enough. You know, I haven't got my parents. And my grandparents all died early, young ages. Mum, 53, cancer. Dad, 60, heart attack. Grandfather, 60, heart attack. Grandmother, 53, cancer. And I was like, I want to go beyond that. Sure. So if I'm thinking about longevity, health is really important. What I eat, okay, what I do tomorrow I might go for a run and get squashed by a truck.
Sure.
Hey, that's not my fault. That's not my fault. Do you know what I mean? So I don't give a shit about that. I don't think about that. You know what I mean? I do everything in my right mind to make sure I don't get hit by a truck, like, not run with, I try to prevent that, but I can't prevent what that person in the truck is doing, whether they're on their phone and they hit me. But I can prevent, diseases. Okay. I can prevent obesity. Righto. So I will do that. And I'm not the crazy one. Okay. Because I'm doing that. The crazy ones are the ones that aren't doing it for themselves. Be more selfish. If I give anyone any more advice, be more selfish in the sense that you've got 4% a day is an hour, 4%, and it's like you said, just move. And if you don't know how to move, okay, there's plenty of people out there, okay, hire a fitness professional that suits you. Yeah. Okay. It's like a relationship as well. You just don't go and get the first one you meet. You don't marry the first person you meet. You know what I mean? You try. Yeah. Some people aren't the right fit. So you got to find a trainer too that is the right fit for you as well. So it's not a one-way, street where, okay, I've just hired this person. They, you might not gel. There might be something about them that aren't motivating you. So there's a lot of things to consider. So look, if you are a little bit lost, there are wonderful PTs out there. And from what I've seen and what I know in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, Richard, there was plenty, and there was some shitty ones too. Don't get me wrong. There was some shitty ones too. Okay. But there are shitty people in all walks of life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yes, but if you are lost and not sure how to do it, and because you're going, well, it's easy for you, Eva, you know how to do it. You've done it for 22 years. Okay. That's fine. I do know how to do it now, but when I started, let's revert back to my degree. When I started my degree, I didn't have a freaking clue. Okay. I was referencing APA referencing. If you don't know what that is, have a look at it. And I was looking for someone called Warren et al. I was like, where is this person? It just met Warren. That was a surname. Plus all these other authors. Yeah. So I didn't know. That's how dumb I was. So I had to learn. So I sought out other people. I stopped them. I asked for advice. I paid for a tutor. For me to pass my numeracy and literacy test, I did online Cluey learning for 2 years. 2 years. And I'd study, okay, because I didn't do too well in high school in that. So 2 years of studying so I could get my teacher's license. If I failed that exam more than 3 times, my degree would have been a waste. Yeah. Okay. But need to understand that I had to search out the people, okay, the tools. And there's a lot of tools out there too in the fitness industry to get people started, to get them kick-started. Like, from couch to 5K or something like that. So you want to become better in any way, academically, physically, mentally, you've got to search for the right people and tools. So
I'm 40. I've been in this career path since I left the military after I went back to studying, and I'm still learning. I still study. I still look at I want to learn a bit more about that skill set. I learn a bit more about that genre. This guy or this lady wrote this interesting book, so I'm going to purchase that. I'm going to read it. You can never have too much knowledge. It's never a bad thing to have a healthy brain as well as a healthy body. One of the things that I've always found staggering, even when I was in my 20s and in the military environment, is a lot of people, not those that are driven in any aspect of life, but a lot of people, a second they get out of education, okay, I can stop learning now. I can stop thinking about my mental health. I mean, you think about, if you're going to live 60, 70, 80 years old, why would you give up on expanding what you know? You might find if you read one book on a subject, that becomes the passion of your spare time. Reading about ancient Japanese culture might be something you fixate on for 20 years, but you don't know about it until you watch one TV program or you watch a documentary or listen to a podcast and go, hey, that's ignited my interest in culinary skills. Or me and my wife can start going hiking because I'm interested, but now I've listened to this guy who's done all this. I really find it, sad's the wrong word, but the idea that people just don't want to expand on their lives. It's like, no, I'm 16 now, I'm 18, I'm done with education. I've just got to pay bills until I die. Yeah, right. Yeah, but you don't. No. I mean, you should live the best experience you can, mentally, physically, intellectually, for as long as possible.
Well, you should. Otherwise, life's a prison. It's a prison sentence. I've been chasing a lifestyle. Everything that I've done, like the fitness, is because when I was young, I liked it. So I was like, this is the avenue I'm going to take. You know what I mean? And it didn't just come. When I joined the military, I was a truck driver.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That was my call. And I was there for a while, you know, I didn't like it. But before I could transfer over to what I wanted to be, I had to embrace the sucky parts of getting to where I wanted to be in the military. You know what I mean? So, you know, so from truckie to combat fitness leader, and then over to the Air Force as a physical training instructor. But I think a lot of young people now too want what they see everyone else have at the age of 40 right now.
Yes. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The Instagram, Amazon sort of like dilemma.
Yeah.
I want it now. Well, tough.
Yeah.
You know.
No, because I didn't have that when I was 18. No. You know what I mean? I didn't have any of that. I worked my way up to it, and there was a lot of suck and shit that came with it. So, and now I am where I am, and I'm still learning. Richard, I will watch other instructors.
Sure.
And I will take it, like, you know, I have my own style, but look, you know, I will watch them because I will learn something from them. You will learn something from watching someone. Even if you think you're the best in the world, trust me, you will learn. I learned so much from watching documentaries, from listening to podcasts, you know, but I mean, I still apply my own philosophy on things, you know what I mean? And I'm very giving in the sense that, you know, I understand that everybody's different needs, and I accommodate those needs as a trainer, as a coach. Not everyone's like me, you know. When I would run ultra marathons, and I try to run one a year, I'll just get up and run it. You know what I mean? And I think to myself, well, me running 100 Ks is sometimes equivalent to, you know, me expecting my client to run 1K. I need to know what they're feeling. So what I endure in that 100 kilometers is what some people endure, you know, mentally in that 1K, because we're all built different. And sometimes our mindset is not just, you know, it's built on the environment we came from, the lifestyle that we had as a child. So mine very much so was coming from absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I remember not even having food. And this is how motivated I was. At 4 o'clock in the morning, I knew that the people in the street were getting their milk delivered. And I had a baby brother, so I'd have to go and take the milk so I'd have food. Do you know what I mean? And I had to feed my brother because he was 8 years and 1 day exactly younger than me. And my mum would have nothing. She'd put the money in the pokies, or, you know, I don't know what she did with her money, but there was never nothing. There was never, and that's why we were in and out of foster care, because we weren't getting looked after. But I remember getting up to get something, and that was survival back then. Like right now, if my kids went and did that, they'd be stealing because they don't need to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
but from a young age, if I knew I had to have something, I'd have to go out and do it to get it. Do you know what I mean? And that was wrong. So I'm not telling anyone just go steal milk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at that time, like, honestly, there was no food. You know, I remember frying up an onion for a whole day, weeks. It felt like what I was eating because there was nothing in the house. You know, so I was like, oh gosh. And I used to always go and hang out at my friend's house. So she'd always take me down and get me hot chips after school. So, and this was being like in primary school.
Sure.
So yeah, what I'm saying is that, like, if you feel that you're going without, or you feel like you're suffering, or feel like you need something, you need to get up. You need to get up and make shit happen.
I absolutely agree. Right. Okay. So we've established you're a badass. That fits nicely into the fact that you're a Harley riding chick as well. And I say that in no terms derogatory whatsoever. So how did you get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Oh, okay. So my husband started early before me. And I've got to say this funny story. So I always tell my coach, Professor Pedro, a lot this one. Basically, Scott would come home. You go, come and give me a cuddle, hun. I'll be like, piss off. I said, haven't you cuddled your mates enough today? I won't use the derogatory term that I use.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's hard. You should come and try it. And I'm like, bullshit, it's hard. You sit down there and cuddle each other all day.
Okay. Yeah.
I went down there and Pedro smashed me. He's like, oh, we cuddle ourselves each day, do we? You know, we cuddle each other. And so basically, I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to give this a go, you know? So I did. And because of my athleticism, I excelled quite quick. And I think it was 3 weeks into my training, Pedro lined me up for one of the Abu Dhabi World Pros. And I medaled there. So I was 6 weeks into it, and I medaled. And then each year I was competing whenever I could. And in the UAE, you've got the best of the best, the cream of the crop black belts there.
Sure.
So I trained with a lot when Pedro left, and it was day in, day out, basically, doing jiu-jitsu over at Cobra Fitness. I'd find a bunch of female black belts over there, like Luana, and Tammy Medeiros, and train with them. So it was something I absolutely fell in love with because I knew nothing. Right. Every day I felt like I knew nothing. I mean, when I got beaten up by boys and girls, black belt levels up, and I still do now. But every single session is growth, and every single session is a challenge. And you talk about not being in control. Sometimes you don't know what's going to happen. So you're always fighting to get out of a position, or fighting for a position or a submission. I never found anything more exciting and thrilling and challenging. And again, the mateship that we spoke about earlier it's unbelievable. So you leave there, and it's that satisfaction pill at the end. And when I came back to Australia and I got my black belt from Pedro Lott, basically I moved to a country town where there was one 45 minutes away, an academy. I went there and there was no females. Right. And I found the instructor did not like me at all. A bit of a misogynist, did not like the fact that I was female, black belt. So I went another 45 minutes down the road, and I found this absolutely brilliant guy, Chris, who was like, let me in his academy, but I couldn't time-wise afford, because I was here by myself with the kids, to drive an hour and a half one way and an hour and a half back. Yeah. So that's a big drive to do jiu-jitsu. And I was like, I'm not giving up on this. I'm not giving up on this. And then Pedro Lott, I chatted to him and his wife, Lindsay, and they said, Eva, you are good enough to start an academy. You are good enough to start something. So I decided, look, I'm going to create my gang. I wasn't allowed in a gang in the first one at Traralgon. They didn't let me in. They're like, you're not being part of this team. The other one was absolutely fantastic, but too far. So you know what? I believed I could. So I did. You know what I mean? I now have nearly 60 members in my academy, which is not bad. We haven't even been open a year. Right. Do you know what I mean? So I'm doing adults, teens, and kids. And it's small for some people, you know what I mean? But it's for a small country town to have that much impact on 60 lives already. Sure. For me, is thrilling, So not only am I able to do jiu-jitsu, I'm learning every single time I take a lesson or step on the mats. I'm learning something about jiu-jitsu. I'm learning something about the students, and I'm learning something about myself. I am not by any means the best jiu-jitsu teacher at all. I'm a learner. Right. But the fact that I'm willing to give something a go, to share something that I love. Right. Okay. I applaud myself, and that's what it's about. Like, I think, man, this shit, I can do it. Yeah. So I'm doing it to the best I can, and I'm learning while I do it. Like I said, I'm not the best, but I'm willing to have a go, Richard. Sure, yeah. You know what I mean? And I found something that is changing lives. Changing lives. I'm sure it really is. Like you say, if you've already built a community of 60 students, those are people that have seen what you enjoy and treasure in that sport, but also see you as the leader they want, because they stayed with you, which is fantastic, because you've already become that focal point of going, right, we're all going to Eva's Academy, which is brilliant, because you're already instilling that in all of those people, regardless of their gender and their age and experience. It's like, I want to go and train here with these people. I want to go and train under Eva, which I think is fantastic. That's really awesome. I don't have anything like your experience when it comes to martial arts. I grew up in semi-rural Devon in the UK, and there was nothing nearby, so I didn't do it. The only real experience I've had, apart from the military kind of stuff, is when I was studying in Bath, the town in the UK, before I moved into this career. I started going to MMA classes right near where I was living as a break from studying, and I was the only guy my size, because the school was run by a guy who's a multiple champion, and he's about 5'5". And he was running the classes, so he wouldn't work with me. So I'd go along there, and I always remember, in my very limited skill set and experience,
that I get to work with one guy who was a foot and a half smaller than me. And that was great to really start to grasp some fundamental basics. I won't say I have any kind of skill, but I think it was Scott, the guy who ran it, one day said, okay, right, let's give you something to work against rather than the same girl all the time. So he paired me up with a 14-year-old. And it was like trying to wrestle a fucking fish. Because this kid was so skilled. He'd been doing it for so long. He was just like, come over here. I was just writhing around in me. I was like, oh, what am I doing? But I found that so enjoyable. I wish at the time I'd been able to properly focus on it. And maybe at some point in the future, I will go back to it. Because like I said, I recognize in what you say, the idea that it gives you that sense of focus and enjoyment, because it's an ever-growing skill set. It really is.
And it's a process as well. Yeah. It's a process, you get better as time goes on. And because jiu-jitsu has belt, you know what I mean? So you get your stripes and then you get your belt. Again, if you're like me, you can't stop until you reach, you know what I mean? You can't. Again, so nothing will stop you. And there was many shitty times I hated jiu-jitsu. Oh, God. It was more so not hated. I hated how I performed in jiu-jitsu, and I still do sometimes this day. Because if you go in sluggish, or if you go in with an injury, you know what I mean, you can get hurt. Yes. And so you just got to pick your battles some days. And look, jiu-jitsu is one of the best analogies for life, because I mean, it is just such a roller coaster of a sport. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you go in there and you got someone that's going to throw you around like a rag doll. Then you go in someone that flows, and you leave high, you leave low. Look, I absolutely love it. It was probably one of the best things I've done, the most scariest things I've done to think that I was capable to run my own academy. I look up to my professor Pedro a lot, and I look up to a lot of the other professors that I've had in my time. Like I've had Eduardo, I've had Wesley, a lot of black belts, Bruno, that are still in the UAE, that I've taken little bits of their philosophies and applied them to mine. So my philosophy in jiu-jitsu is still going to grow, because I'm at the beginning of my teaching phase there, So I really hope that as time goes on, that I really have an academy that takes off, that grows, I'm sure so this is my next next challenge as well, to make it work. So it's an absolutely. It's a great feeling to be not just fitness focused now. Yeah. But I mean, I've always kind of been the jack of many trades, the master of none. I've always had my finger in like the jiu-jitsu pie, the skydiving pie, the ultra marathons. You know what I mean? Yeah. CrossFit back in the day when I used to compete in the fitness events. When it all started in that for me in Dubai, that's where I got recognized by winning the very first.
We should point out you won that entire event. You didn't just show up, you won it.
Actually, you know what motivated me then? The prize money.
That's always a good one.
Holy crap. I was an actually fit, functioning alcoholic back in the days. I haven't drank for 3 years. Like I gave up when mum died of cancer, because I saw what it did to her body, and the doctor said, you know what, just let her drink herself to death. And I just went, holy shit, I'm off. I'm done with the drinking. I've overcome. I used to drink in the UAE after every session, have a drink. And then the drinks went from 1 to 2 to bottles. And when I was hiding them around the house, I realized I had a problem. And I did a lot of those events as an alcoholic. Right. Seriously, I was drinking the night before, and I mean drinking. And I just thought to myself, it was a big holiday for me, that 10 years almost in the UAE, until I really started to go, well, and that's what I'm saying. You can be lost at any phase. When you're succeeding, you can still be lost. Yes. You know what I mean? You can be succeeding in that physical sense, but there's something else that's an anchor that's weighing you down. And even right now, me being here by myself, that's an anchor weighing me down, because when I get off here, it might be a moment where I feel alone. Yes. You know what I mean? Yep. But I don't let that anchor pull me down to the bottom and sit down the bottom of the bloody sea with it and feel sorry for myself and have a pity party. Okay, well, fuck that. I need to move on.
Yeah.
You know what? That's how I feel. I address how I feel. I address that I've got problems. I address that maybe I still get angry at my kids more than I should. I address that, I don't drink, all these kinds of shit in life. Even though you're succeeding, you're still going to have problems.
Yeah, no, that is very true. I think some people forget sometimes, just because some people are achieving, like you said, they may be leaders in X, Y, and Z. It doesn't mean they don't have their own demons, their own problems, and it doesn't mean that they're living on this, in the shiny tower and everything's just golden. Everybody has issues, and how they process them will influence their lives. That's always a thing. It doesn't go away. You've always got to process life.
Absolutely.
So going forward then, because I'm aware I've had you for an hour and 10 minutes, and although the sun's coming up here in Dubai, because it's only 10 to 8, it's in the afternoon for you because you're in Australia. Are we going to see, because I remember the last time I saw you in person, your kids were then ninjas. Are we going to see Clarke on an Olympic outfit in the near future, or are they looking at their own disciplines?
My kids have their own identity, and
right, okay.
I try to push my kids into what I like. My oldest is academic. She finishes her degree in criminology next year.
Right.
So we'll graduate at the same time. My middle child was a ninja. She was but the lifestyle here is slightly different, but
right.
You won't find a teenager working 2 jobs. She's working in IGA and McDonald's, and she likes being active. She's more my personality as well.
Sure.
And my son, he wants to be a soldier.
Okay.
That's his ambition. So yeah, look, exactly. It's not my job to tell my kids who they want to be or where they want to go. It's my job to make sure that they're fit, they're healthy, and they're happy.
Sure.
And I always said to myself, as a parent, I'm going to aim high so it inspires them. But then, I realized once when one of my kids come home from school and she goes, "Oh, the PE teacher was an asshole to me today because I couldn't do push-ups." And they said to me, "Well, you're Eva Clarke's daughter. You should do push-ups." But then I thought to myself, the stigma associated with being my kid demotivates them. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
There's this expectations that they should be like me when they're in reality, they should be who the hell they want to be.
Yep.
So, and again, so I don't, my son does jiu-jitsu. He trains with me. And like I said, my oldest is in the academic side. My daughter does AFL, Australian football. And he loves training. She's just started training by herself in the gym, which again, she goes, "Mum, go away," because she doesn't like it there.
It sounds like my wife.
Mum, she said, "Dad, can't, even when Mum's not looking at you, it feels like she's looking at you, like to say something's wrong." So, or something. So she's like, she goes, "I can't stand it." So again, I just let them be. Like, I mean, at the moment, being my daughter's 15, she's going, adolescence, she's getting her identity.
Sure.
So I need to let her make sure that she finds her own identity. My son, he's still awesome. I love him. Boys are the best. Boys are the best. I love them. I mean, I love my daughters. They're all crazy. Oh my God, women are insane. Women are insane. I feel sorry for the dudes.
I do wonder how my grandparents coped. Well, all of them, but my father's parents had 4 boys. They had 2 boys, and they decided, should we try for a third? Because we may have a daughter. Either way, we'll love what we get. But it would be lovely to have a daughter, because most of the kids in my family are boys. There's not that many girls. And my grandmother got pregnant with twin boys. So my grandfather went from having 2 boys to having 4.
Oh gosh, yeah. I think, I don't know. Well, the boys that I'm associated with around me, like my son and my husband, they're very chilled. But I suppose my husband has to be chilled, I guess, because I'm so, let's go, let's do this. I want to do that. I want to, you know what I mean? So someone has, like, we balance each other out like yin and yang,
Nice.
So I guess that in any relationship or any kind of, like I said too, as well, if you're a trainer or whatnot, I mean, there has to be balance. So yeah. So there is a bit of balance there. Oh, cool. Gosh, I think I rant and raved, don't I?
No, honestly, no. Like I said, I want this podcast, like all the rest of them, to be a conversation, because that way you get the sense of everything you're trying to discuss comes out rather than just straight questions and answers. So you can rant away. It's fantastic. Right, okay, so I'm going to ask you one, like, proper question, and then we're going to wrap up because you've got to get on with what we know now is a very busy life. Right. Okay. So, do you think, and I have no experience of the education system in Australia. I mean, I've been down there, but I've never been a student there. Do you think schools are doing a good enough job right now when it comes to teaching health and physical, mental, just for the whole package for young people?
Look, from what I've seen in the curriculum in Australia, just from being on prac and looking into it through my assignments and whatnot, there is now a lot of expectation for teachers to teach stuff that you think could or should be taught at home.
Mm-hmm.
But because of social demographics at home, sometimes parents don't have the knowledge or the capacity or the funds or the resources to teach kids. I think the curriculum is actually jammed with information for the kids. So now there's less on that social emotional side. They're really focusing on that. So it's taking away from the physical side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now that means more time in the classroom focusing on the social, the emotional, the drugs, the alcohol, you know what I mean? The bullying, the cyberbullying,
mm-hmm.
the sexting kind of stuff, the STIs. And so now more time in the classroom means less time for physical activity. And again, what happens there is that some parents can't afford to pay for their kids to do sports outside school.
Mm-hmm.
So again, they're the ones losing out. So you've got, it's as good as it can be. We're living in a society where there is so much information at the fingertips of students' hand already. Do you know what I mean? With YouTube, with, it's just, it can be self-taught, but teaching the right things is really important. So as a future educator, I do hope that I can bring a balance, but again, I'd have to adhere to government policy,
mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, in that sense. But I think that there needs to be more of an emphasis, maybe having information nights for parents to teach their kids some of this stuff too.
Sure.
And make sure that the curriculum is balanced. When my son was home recently from school doing online learning, because we got locked down again.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the UAE, they did PE. The PE teachers got on and they got them to do obs course or wall sits or sit-ups or something. So there was a little emphasis. Out of the 6 weeks that I was with him last, there was not one PE class.
Right.
So I took him for PE.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an educator. I know what to do.
Sure.
So there were six weeks that I know of that some kids went without.
Did nothing
because their parents did not have the resources or the teachers weren't sending that information out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I had this discussion with my husband. I said to him, I cannot believe, you know what I mean, that they didn't do any kind of PE,
mm-hmm.
So I was really, like, wow, taken back by that. But as a PE educator, I mean, my whole life is about balance, so learning and moving. You need to combine the two because that's where the social and the emotional side comes together. And, the social being, if you can get to together with a group of people, but that emotional well-being, it's balance. So I believe that the curriculum can be improved, but how to do it, I'm not the person to make these assumptions on how to do it. All I know is that because I'm educated, I can help educate other parents by offering advice or by sharing information, and then hoping that they will do that for their kids. So, my kids, they have the balance. They have it right at the moment, and that's because that's who I am. That's what I've educated myself to become. So, monkey see, monkey do. Hopefully some of them do follow in my footsteps, but like I said, they're their own kids. And when I teach at school, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best to change lives, healthy lives, so they can be lifelong learners and lifelong physical active people. So that's all I can do.
That's a really, really good summation, I think. And I certainly wish you all the best with that in the future. I mean, if anyone can do it, you can.
I reckon so.
I will certainly.
Tell me I can't, Richard. Tell me I can't. Tell me.
Hey, no, honestly, I don't think in my mind, my dear, I would ever use those words with you. I can't, and I will be eagerly watching to see how you get on in the future, because I think you will be a very good example for young people, a good focal point. So on that, we are going to wrap up recording. So any kind of social media links, promote your BJJ studio, everything, please go for it.
Oh, okay. You'll find me at Frontline Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Australia. So Frontline Australia. Instagram is Eva. I don't even know. Have a look.
Yeah, have a look. Quick. Yeah, have a look.
Oh my God. Look, yeah, look, I look. If you're ever in Sale, Victoria, Gippsland, anyone, okay, which probably be like a million to one. That's where that's where I am. Frontline Australia, affiliated with Frontline Carlson Gracie in Canada, and my Instagram name. Look, check me out. Okay, is Eva? No, it's not. It's Fitness Eva, like EVA Lucian. BJJ, righto. So I put up all my workouts that I do daily. Some of them, some people say are absolutely insane, but to me, they're my norm. Okay, so it is what I do. Everything that I do, you probably see 4% of me a day on Instagram, okay? Because I only pretty much share my workouts and some of my adversities that I've overcome in life, and where I hope to or aspire to go in the future. But look, check me out. Hopefully I've inspired someone somewhere in the world. I might be a mere ripple in the ocean, but that's all you need to make the world change, yeah?
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to wrap up recording right now. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and thank you very much, Eva. So I speak to everyone in the near future.